Hey Columbus, Troy here with Ohio Men's Health once again. Welcome back. Hey, today we're going to be talking about a really interesting topic, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's called a partial androgen deficiency versus a true 100% androgen deficiency, or low T. Both are commonly referred to low T, but we're going to talk about a complete deficiency versus a partial. Now, before we get into that information today, again, you can find us at www.columbuslowt.com. You can contact us directly, 330-662-1030. You can call and or text that number if you have questions. And then as well, if you're looking on social media, you can look at or look for Ohio Men's Health on your favorite channel, whether that be Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever it may be, YouTube. So anyway, let's get to today's information. So a complete androgen deficiency versus a partial androgen deficiency. Again, both of these are termed low testosterone. So first, let's get to know the scale of what testosterone is. So if we go back a few years with LabCorp, who's the biggest lab in the country that gives us labs, Quest Diagnostics, LabCorp, there's a handful. But LabCorp, probably one of the most respected, largest labs in the country. The scale for testosterone was 347 on the low end and 1148 on the high end. Now that was a few years ago. They've brought that scale down 264 to 916. Doesn't matter what scale we're using. Here's the key, okay? 347 to 1148, that's the scale of quote unquote normal, okay? Now a true androgen deficiency, and an androgen refers to testosterone, okay? So a true androgen deficiency refers to the testosterone level being below the low end of that scale. So if that scale is 347, an androgen deficiency means that we are below that number and we are truly deficient in testosterone. Now, a partial deficiency, this is where we get a lot of confusion. This is where a lot of men, you may be out there, you've met with the family physician, you're like, hey, can you check my testosterone? You get a call from them and say, they say, hey, testosterone's fine, but perhaps it's 370 or 420 and you're symptomatic. So oftentimes what happens is you get this response that, hey, the testosterone level's normal, but you don't feel good. Now, this is oftentimes what's going on. 10, 15, 20 years ago, depending on where you are in life, when you're 20 years old, you were probably living at 800, 900, 1,000, wherever it may be. Then with time, naturally, once we're over 35, in a good percentage of men, testosterone is going to decline at 1 to 2% per year. On average, some men go faster, some slower. There are some things that can influence that to go faster or slower. But that being said, it declines. When it begins to decline and it gets to a point to where we are partially deficient, say 450, 500, low 400s, upper 300s, that's when a lot of men go, something doesn't feel right. I don't feel good. I'm not motivated. My mood just isn't quite as perky as it used to be. My sleep isn't good. I wake up for no good reason. I have problems falling asleep, staying asleep. Libido decreases. You're not motivated to go to the gym. The gym doesn't feel good. You don't recover. You don't get a pump. You don't feel like you can build muscle. Of course, all the symptoms of low testosterone, but it's not clinically deficient in a complete androgen deficiency. So this is the conundrum a lot of you guys get stuck in out there, where you go, gosh, I've got a partial deficiency. Okay, the family doc says it's fine, but it's at 400. Now, most men's health programs are going to tell you, no, that's not okay. So there are ways to deal with a partial androgen deficiency. There are many other labs we can look at to start putting together a picture of what we can do to begin correcting and relieving some of the symptoms that you may be experiencing in that area where you have this, quote, partial deficiency. So if that's you, where you feel like you're not functioning at your best, you feel like something's wrong, you've had your testosterone checked, it's in a partial deficiency. Perhaps you got put on an antidepressant and you go, this just isn't what I was looking for. I just don't feel well. You're the guy that I'm looking for to come on in and say, let's take a look. Let's get a really, really extensive lab draw so we can really tease apart what is going on here. What's the free testosterone look like? What's the total testosterone look like? What's the LH look like? Where's your estradiol at? Where's the LH, DHEA? We'll check prolactin. There's going to be a lot of tests that we'll run to look at and get a full picture of what's going on, and then we can begin creating solutions. And again, that's where men's health, not every problem is created the same. And the partial androgen deficiency is one where a lot of men just get stuck and confused, and sometimes even start on replacement therapy and go, you know, I'm not understanding the hype here. And there are a lot of ways to deal with that. So if that's you, you're stuck in this partial androgen deficiency, you have symptoms, you've been put on some medicines, you don't feel well, or you don't feel like you're functioning at your best, you're older than 35, give us a call, 330-662-1030. You can also go to columbuslowt.com. You can schedule a free consultation there. The consultation, guys, is free. There's no hooks, there's nothing weird, there's no credit card. The consultation is free. I will sit down with you. We will go through your symptoms for a good 30 minutes to an hour. And then typically next step is going to be a good blood draw. Guys, blood draws are covered by insurance. So your first visit is going to be free. There is no cost for the consultation. If blood draw is the appropriate next step, we will send this to your insurance. Give us a call today, 330-662-1030. Again, columbuslowt.com.